This is America in the Morning from Westwood One. Good morning, I'm John Trout. It's Friday, August 9th, 2024. Here's what's coming up on America in the Morning.
Former President Donald Trump made his first public appearance since Vice President Kamala Harris selected Minnesota Governor Tim Walz as her running mate. I'm Ed Donahue.
15 states with Republican attorneys general have filed a federal lawsuit against the Biden administration. I'm Norman Hall.
Both suspects in a foiled plot to launch an attack outside a Taylor Swift concert appeared to be inspired by the Islamic State group. I'm Karen Chammas.
A settlement reached in the Parkland, Florida massacre. I'm Clayton Neville.
American Noah Lyles fails to win an historic second gold medal after testing positive for COVID. I'm Steve Futterman at the Summer Olympics in Paris.
A Kentucky family is suing Abbott Nutrition for the death of a newborn baby girl. I'm Jackie Quinn.
All ahead on America in the Morning. President Trump has made his first public appearance since Kamala Harris announced her VP pick. Here's Correspondent Ed Donahue.
At his Florida resort, Trump said there certainly never has been anybody so liberal as these two. He doesn't like the press coverage of the Democrats.
They talk about, the enthusiasm. Let me tell you, we have the enthusiasm. The Republican Party, and me as a candidate, but the Republican Party has the enthusiasm.
He repeatedly suggested Kamala Harris was not intelligent enough to debate him. Trump was asked if there will be a peaceful transfer of power.
Of course there'll be a peaceful transfer, and there was last time, and there'll be a peaceful transfer. I just hope we're going to have honest elections.
I'm Ed Donahue.
15 attorneys general are suing the Biden administration over changes to health care eligibility for some illegal immigrants. Correspondent Norman Hall reports.
15 states with Republican attorneys general have filed a federal lawsuit against the Biden administration over a rule that is expected to allow 100,000 immigrants brought to the U.S. illegally as children to enroll next year in the Federal Affordable Care Act's health insurance. The states are seeking to block the rule taking effect November 1st and providing people known as Dreamers access to tax breaks when they sign up for coverage. Opponents say the rule violates the ACA and would encourage more immigrants to come to the U.S. illegally. Advocates say Dreamers had little to no choice in coming to the U.S. and years later are fully integrated into their communities. I'm Norman Hall.
Authorities now say the two men arrested in connection with a foiled attack outside a Taylor Swift concert in Austria appear to have gotten their inspiration for the plot from ISIS. Correspondent Karen Chammas reports.
Investigators found bomb-making materials at one of their homes, and officials said one of the two confessed to planning to kill as many people as possible outside the concert venue. 3 sold-out concerts were cancelled a day earlier because of the plot, devastating Swifties from across the globe. Concert organisers said they stood behind their decision to cancel the events, and Gerhard Kahner, Austria's interior minister, said, "The situation is serious, but we can also say a tragedy was prevented." 17-year-old Taylor Swift fan Anna Maria told the AP,
"This concert used to be a safe space for everyone, and now it's just a threat and no one is feeling safe anymore."
In 2017, an attack by a suicide bomber at an Ariana Grande concert in Manchester, England, killed 22 people. I'm Karen Chammas.
The top stories of the day are sponsored by Sleep Number. Sleep better together. Save 40% on a Sleep Number limited edition smart bed only at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com. COVID-19 hits the Summer Olympics. That story when America in the Morning continues after these messages. This is America in the Morning. New impacts from Debbie today. Here's AccuWeather.com meteorologist Matt Rindy with the nation's forecast.
Debbie, as a tropical rainstorm, will be accelerating northward today through Virginia this morning and then continuing through portions of West Virginia and Maryland before heading into south central New York by this evening and then continuing into New England tonight. Heavy rain and gusty winds can still accompany Debbie, with rain amounts from Virginia to central New York ranging from 4 to as much as 8 inches. Some of the thunderstorms on the eastern side of Debbie from Maryland into New England can be heavy and gusty with an isolated tornado or two. Outside of Debbie, there'll be some showers farther to the south through portions of Florida into Georgia and South Carolina. Another storm in the Great Lakes will cause several showers through Wisconsin and Michigan. This same system is ushering much more comfortable air into the northern and central plains as far south as the panhandle of Oklahoma and then eastward through most of Illinois and Indiana. There can be a mixture of sun and clouds today with lower humidity and highs mostly in the 60s and 70s. This air will eventually reach the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast this weekend. To the south of that front, it'll remain hot from Texas eastward through Georgia with plenty of sunshine and highs in the 90s and 100s. In the Four Corners region, we'll see another round of showers and thunderstorms, especially in the afternoon and at night. A few of the storms will be capable of producing drenching rainfall and gusty winds. Additional scattered thunderstorms will build to the rest of the Rockies and also move into the portions of western plains. That's the weather across America. There'll be increasing amounts of sunshine in Charlotte, North Carolina today with a warm afternoon and a high of 90. Garden City, Kansas will have sunshine mixing with clouds and an afternoon thunderstorm and a high of 64. That's the nation's weather. I'm AccuWeather.com meteorologist Matt Rindy.
You can follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Apple, Spotify, Amazon, and YouTube. Just search America in the Morning in your favorite listening app. I'm John Trout. A settlement has been reached in connection to the 2018 massacre at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. Correspondent Clayton Neville reports.
25-year-old Nicholas Cruz is serving 34 consecutive life sentences on 17 counts of first-degree murder and 17 counts of attempted first-degree murder. Attorneys for the families of the Parkland victims say Cruz doesn't have any money, but if he ever comes into any, he'll have to hand it over. Court records show the parents of Luke Hoyer, Elena Petty, and Meadow Polak each returned $50 million settlements, while injured student Maddie Wilford agreed to a $40 million settlement with Cruz. In Florida, it's against the law for inmates to keep any money connected to their crimes, but in Cruz's case, it was specifically ordered that any money placed in his prison account be seized to pay restitution to the victims and to their families. I'm Clayton Neville.
COVID-19 makes its appearance at the Summer Olympics. Correspondent Steve Futterman reports.
The last two Olympics in Tokyo and Beijing were mostly held without spectators because of COVID-19. Last night here in Paris, one of the key events during these Olympics was impacted by COVID. The 200-meter race featuring American Noah Lyles. He was trying to become the first American man to win both the 100 and 200 in the same Olympics since Carl Lewis in 1984. Lyles, the favorite, came in third. Afterwards, it was disclosed he tested positive for COVID earlier in the week. The other racers apparently did not know. Silver medalist Kenny Bednarik said it didn't bother him.
I don't think I was put at risk at all. When I found out, it wasn't that big of a deal.
On the track last night, the U.S. won 3 gold medals. Sydney McLaughlin won gold in the women's 400-meter hurdles and set a world record.
The event is just getting faster and faster. Just continue getting better.
In the men's 110-meter hurdles, Grant Holloway, who won silver in Tokyo 3 years ago, finally got that much-wanted gold medal.
I feel good. I'm definitely happy. That was the main goal. And now, we can have fun.
In basketball, the U.S. men survived a scare. The Americans overcame a 13-point fourth-quarter deficit and beat Serbia. The Americans will now play France for the gold medal. I'm Steve Futterman at the Summer Olympics in Paris.
Among the stories we're covering next, the U.S. stock market, sour on Monday, sweet returns by Thursday, and Eli Lilly's new weight loss drug. America in the Morning, back after these messages. Welcome back. This is America in the Morning. The Business Report is brought to you by Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments takes a disciplined approach with investing, helping clients navigate volatile markets. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com. Here's CNBC's Jessica Ettinger.
Wall Street opens this morning after a rally on Wall Street yesterday on better-than-expected labor market data. The Dow was up almost 700 points. The S&P 500 index had its best day since 2022.
everything can be summed up with this, including the drama that happened on Monday. On average, the market has 3 5% pullbacks and 1 10% correction each year. So far this year, we've only had 1 5% pullback. So I really expect going forward that we are going to see some more volatility.
Pivotal's Tiffany McGee on CNBC. Eli Lilly reported strong quarterly results, raising the forecast for its diabetes and weight loss injectable drugs, Mounjaro and Zepbound. The shortage for those drugs is over. And Lilly has a pill coming.
We have a key project in our pipeline, which is the oral pill, GLP-1, which in our hands gives you about mid-teen weight loss, controls diabetes well. The pill is still in testing.
Eli Lilly CEO David Ricks on CNBC. Dutch Bros Coffee, a chain that some have had high hopes for as Starbucks falters, struggled. Dutch Bros shares down 20% on disappointing quarterly results.
It's one of the great growth stocks of our era. They wouldn't give you a forecast. They indicated somehow that things are not good. And then the forecasts in the future were really mystery to me. It was very disappointing.
CNBC Mad Money host Jim Cramer. The insurance industry's watching an extremely active rest of the Atlantic hurricane season is predicted. NOAA out with an updated forecast calling for up to 24 named storms with as many as 13 hurricanes. La Nina is weakening, and that weather pattern had held down severe storm formation.
Investors are weighing the potential outcome of the Harris and Trump VP picks.
Well, as wealthy people hope for more tax cuts from a possible second Trump administration, Wall Street does like money, and it might prefer Donald Trump's VP pick, J.D. Vance, a multimillionaire, over Vice President Harris's pick, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. He's just a regular guy.
According to the most recent financial disclosures, Vice President Kamala Harris's running mate, Tim Walz, doesn't own any stocks, bonds, or real estate and earns a salary of $127,000 a year as Minnesota governor. His financial profile, a stark contrast to GOP vice presidential nominee J.D. Vance. Forbes estimates his net worth between $3 and $10 million.
CNBC's Silvana Hanau. On today's watch list, earnings are coming from AMC Networks. New in theaters, Neon's horror thriller Cuckoo, Sony's romance It Ends With Us, and Lionsgate's video game-inspired Borderlands.
CNBC's Jessica Ettinger. America in the Morning continues. A Kentucky family is suing Abbott Nutrition over the death of their newborn. They allege that contaminated baby formula produced by the company is to blame. Correspondent Jackie Quinn reports.
A judge has ruled that Cheyenne Ping and Christian Delakia can sue Abbott Nutrition after their 13-day-old baby, Willow, died in 2023. She'd been fed Similac, Total Comfort powdered formula, and became infected with Chronobacter, a dangerous germ linked to the formula. University of Texas pediatrics professor Dr. Stephen Abrams says the FDA is trying to improve the inspections of formula factories.
People have to be comfortable with the safety of powder infant formula. It's used by millions of babies every year.
Willow's formula was made at the Sturgis, Michigan plant, which was temporarily closed in 2022 after contamination was detected. I'm Jackie Quinn.
When we return on America in the Morning, U.S.-China diplomacy. It's a bear after these messages. Welcome back. You're with America in the Morning. The San Diego Zoo has rolled out the red carpet for the first public showing of its new giant pandas, the first to enter the U.S. in 2 decades. For years, the Chinese government has loaned pandas to zoos around the world in a practice called panda diplomacy. In recent years, however, China stopped renewing panda loans to zoos and calling back home the animals that had given to Western countries as relations soured. The San Diego Zoo's previous pandas left in 2018 and 2019. Speaking at their unveiling, California Governor Gavin Newsom declared August 8th California Panda Day and said the animals are a symbol that relations are on the mend with the communist country.
This is about understanding. This is about something much deeper, much richer. than just the two beautiful pandas we celebrate.
The pandas are named Shengbao and Yunchuan. Chinese Ambassador Si Yufeng also attended the ceremony and explained the significance of Shengbao's name.
Her name means a treasure of prosperity and abundance, and we hope she will bring you good luck to California, to San Diego.
More U.S. zoos are preparing for the return of pandas. The Smithsonian National Zoo in D.C. expects to receive a new pair of pandas by the end of the year. A lawyer for rapper Nelly is saying an overzealous police officer is responsible for the artist's arrest. Correspondent Marjory reports.
Nelly was cashing out his winnings at a casino outside St. Louis when an officer supervising the transaction needlessly ran a search for warrants, according to Nelly's attorney, Scott Rosenblum. He says the officer found a warrant from December citing Nelly for operating a vehicle without proof of insurance, then handcuffed Nelly. The officer said he found 4 illegal ecstasy pills on Nelly, or what Rosenblum calls alleged ecstasy. Rosenblum says there was no probable cause for the search, nor was Nelly notified about the warrant. Rosenblum says he's 100% confident the case will go nowhere. The Missouri Highway Patrol says Nelly was held and released, but gave no details on the arrest. I'm Marjory Zaraletta.
America in the Morning for Friday, August 9th, 2024 is produced by Alexander Hinton. Our senior producer, Kevin Delaney. I'm John Trout. This is Westwood One. This is America in the Morning from Westwood One. I'm John Trout. Coming up this half hour.
The campaigning is ramping up and debates are all set. I'm Clayton Neville.
It's being called California's worst ever wildfire. I'm Bob Brown. Details on that story coming up.
More details emerge from a Taylor Swift concert terror plot in Austria. I'm Pamela Burr.
A third person has died, this time in Virginia, in a listeria food poisoning outbreak tied to Boar's Head deli meats. I'm Ed Donahue.
More gold for the U.S. heading into the final weekend of the Olympics. I'm Robert Workman.
America in the Morning, back after these messages. Welcome back. Here with America in the Morning. AccuWeather.com meteorologist Matt Rindy is in. Where will Debbie Downer strike today?
Debbie, as a tropical rainstorm, will be increasing its speed as it moves northward today through Virginia this morning and then continuing into the portions of West Virginia and Maryland before heading into south central New York this evening and then continuing into New England tonight. Heavy rain and gusty winds can still accompany Debbie from Virginia to central New York, where rain amounts will range from as much as 4 to 8 inches. Some of those thunderstorms on the eastern side of Debbie from Maryland into New England will also be heavy and gusty with an isolated tornado or two. Another storm in the Great Lakes will cause several showers through Wisconsin and Michigan. This same system is ushering much more comfortable air through the northern and central plains as far south as the panhandle of Oklahoma and eastward through most of Illinois and Indiana. There will be a mixture of sun and clouds with lower humidity and highs mostly in the 60s and 70s. This air will eventually reach the mid-Atlantic and northeast this weekend. To the south of that front, it will remain hot from Texas eastward through Georgia. There will be plenty of sunshine with highs in the 90s and 100s. In the Four Corners region, we'll see another round of showers and thunderstorms, especially in the afternoon and at night. A few of the storms will be capable of producing drenching rainfall and gusty winds. We'll have additional scattered thunderstorms in the afternoon building through the rest of the Rockies and also moving into portions of the western plains. There'll be some showers and thunderstorms in parts of the southeast in the wake of Debbie through portions of Florida into Georgia and South Carolina. And in the west coast, it will remain largely dry under plenty of sunshine. Highs will remain in the 100s in the valleys with most interior areas in the 90s. That's the nation's weather. I'm AccuWeather.com meteorologist Matt Rindy.
I'm John Trout. Remember, you can follow us wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, and YouTube. Just search America in the Morning in your favorite listening app. ABC News confirms Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump have agreed to debate one another on the network September 10th. Our Clayton Neville has been following the candidates on the campaign trail.
While holding a press conference at Mar-a-Lago, former President Donald Trump was asked if he's healed from the wound to his ear after being shot during last month's assassination attempt in Pennsylvania.
Pretty much recovered, yeah. I'm a fast healer. It's a hell of a shot.
Trump holding the presser to highlight Vice President Harris's limited presence with reporters since being named Democratic presidential nominee, also to address reports of enthusiasm that Harris and her running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, have garnered in recent days.
No. The enthusiasm is with me and the Republican Party.
Trump said not so fast.
South Carolina had 88,000 people. In Alabama, I had 68,000 people. Nobody says about crowd size with me. But she has 1,000 people or 1,500 people, and they say, oh, the enthusiasm's back.
The former president commented on Governor Walz as Harris's VP pick and called him radical.
Heavy into the transgender world, heavy into lots of different worlds having to do with safety. He doesn't want to have borders. He doesn't want to have walls. He doesn't want to have any form of safety for our country.
Trump suggested that the presidency was taken away from President Biden, saying that Harris's move to replace Biden on the ticket may have been unconstitutional. Meanwhile, Walz side by side with Harris on the campaign trail.
I couldn't be prouder to be on this ticket and couldn't be prouder to stand with UAW.
The Harris-Walz campaign hitting Wayne, Michigan to meet with members of the United Auto Workers.
I am so deeply honored as a lifelong supporter of union labor for Tim and I to have the endorsement of UAW.
Harris touted a value in unions.
Even if you're not a member of a union, you better thank unions.
This is former President Trump officially commits to debating Harris.
We've agreed with Fox on a date of September 4th. We've agreed with NBC, fairly full agreement, subject to them, on September 10th. And we've agreed with ABC on September 25th.
The vice president seemingly welcoming the debates.
I'm looking forward to it and hope he shows up.
I'm Clayton Neville.
New details emerge, and 2 suspects are in custody for allegedly plotting a terror attack at a now canceled Taylor Swift concert. Correspondent Pamela Furr has the latest.
This is the Austrian Interior Minister as he announces 2 suspects have been arrested. He says the situation was serious, but, quote, a tragedy was prevented. The 2 appeared to be inspired by the Islamic State group and al-Qaeda, as investigators found bomb-making materials at one home. Officials also say one confessed to planning to kill as many people as possible outside the concert venue. 3 sold-out shows were canceled on Wednesday because of the plot, with Swifties from across the globe spending thousands of dollars on travel and lodging to attend the Eras tour. Emma Soto traveled from the U.S. to Vienna, especially for this concert.
We're all very devastated, and just like the concert itself being canceled is sad, but also we're really thankful that the men and women who were tracking this caught it before anything, major could have happened, and just very thankful to those doing the job, and it's doesn't go unnoticed.
Concert organizers say they expected up to 65,000 fans inside the stadium at each concert and as many as 30,000 onlookers outside, where it is believed the suspects plan to strike. I'm Pamela Furr.
Firefighters continue to battle against one of the largest fires ever in the state of California. Correspondent Bob Brown has the update.
The so-called park fire between Chico and Redding has burned nearly 500,000 acres, with firefighters struggling to contain the fire since earlier in the week. Officials say the fire is a little more than 30% contained. The fire has scorched more than 50,000 acres. However, as of Thursday, officials have lifted some evacuation warnings. Firefighters are on the lookout, though, for more spot fires as the fire continues to be fought from air and on the ground. 4,000 people have been evacuated, with well over 600 homes destroyed and nearly 60 damaged, with at least 3 people injured. Rick Perro, speaking with CBS News, has been a victim of 2 fires, one back in 2018 in a wildfire in nearby Paradise, and now the Park Fire, which he says will most likely steer him away from the region for good.
We're also looking out of the area and looking far out of the area because we think it's after 2 times, live and learn. Yeah, this one was a harder one because of losing our our little cat.
Meantime, forecasters say to expect triple-digit temperatures to continue in the region with low humidity, a combination which poses a threat for even more fires. I'm Bob Brown.
Among the stories we're covering next, new legal woes for Hunter Biden, listeria in deli meats, and fresh unemployment numbers. When America in the Morning continues after these messages. I'm John Trout. Welcome back. You're with America in the Morning. Prosecutors have filed new documents in the tax case against Hunter Biden. Correspondent Ben Thomas is following that story.
Prosecutors say while his father was vice president, Hunter Biden was hired by a Romanian businessman who was trying to influence U.S. government agencies. Special counsel David Weiss says Hunter Biden's business associate will testify at the upcoming federal tax trial of the president's son about the arrangement, including a $3 million payment with the Romanian executive. Gabriel Popoviciu was facing criminal investigation at the time in Romania and wanted U.S. government agencies to probe that investigation in hopes that would end his legal trouble. Popoviciu was sentenced to 7 years in prison in 2017 after being convicted of real estate fraud. Ben Thomas, Washington.
That trial that could keep RFK Jr. off the presidential ballot in New York is coming to a close. Correspondent Norman Hall is following that case.
A non-jury trial in Albany over whether Kennedy's nominating petition should be invalidated ended Thursday without Justice Christina Reba issuing an immediate decision. A voters' lawsuit backed by a Democrat-aligned PAC claims Kennedy's state nominating petitions falsely listed a residence in suburban New York while he actually has lived in the Los Angeles area since 2014. Getting knocked off the ballot in New York also could lead to lawsuits in other states where Kennedy's campaign listed the same address. I'm Norman Hall.
There's been another death purportedly tied to that listeria outbreak in deli meats. Correspondent Ed Donahue reports.
A third person has died, this time in Virginia, in a listeria food poisoning outbreak tied to Boar's Head deli meats. The other deaths were in New Jersey and Illinois. The CDC says 43 people have gotten sick. Boar's Head recalled 7 million pounds of deli meats more than a week ago, expanding an initial recall. It includes more than 70 products made at the Boar's Head plant in Jarrett, Virginia, including liverwurst, ham, beef salami, and bologna. Boar's Head already faces 2 lawsuits over the outbreak, one in Missouri, the other in New York. I'm Ed Donahue.
Unemployment claims dropped slightly but remained higher than expected. Here's correspondent Jackie Quinn with details.
Jobless claims for last week fell by 17,000, better than what analysts were expecting, landing at 233,000. This was the first snapshot of the labor market since last week's disappointing jobs report for July, which sent financial markets into a tailspin. With fears, it signaled a recession. The 4-week average of claims, which smooths out some of the volatility, had an increase of 2,500 applications, bringing the total number for the period over 240,000. Some suggest the cooling in the labor market will push the Federal Reserve to accelerate its rate-cutting schedule. I'm Jackie Quinn.
Britain remains on alert for further unrest following a wave of anti-immigrant protests across the country. Correspondent Karen Chammas has details.
Police had been expecting a wave of planned far-right protests targeting offices of immigration lawyers and others offering services to migrants. But those demonstrations failed to materialise as police and counter-protesters filled the streets. Carrying signs saying refugees welcome and chanting, "Whose streets? Our streets." People turned out in force to protect asylum service centres and the offices of immigration attorneys. Speaking to reporters at a mosque near Birmingham, Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer sounded the note of caution after a week of anti-immigrant violence.
Anybody involving themselves in disorder, whatever they claim as their motive, will feel the full force of the law.
After his visit to the mosque, Starmer held a roundtable meeting where he told community leaders that the justice system response to the unrest had been swift, with some already sentenced to prison terms. Karen Chammas, London.
PC chip maker Intel is being sued by its own shareholders. They claim the bigwigs, the suits, knew about declining revenues and failing business units. Chuck Palm has more in today's Tech Report.
The world's largest PC chip maker is being sued by their shareholders, who are claiming that the Silicon Valley company concealed problems that led to its weak results and caused market value to sink more than $32 billion in a single day. The proposed class action suit against CEO Patrick Gelsinger and CFO David Zinsser was filed in a San Francisco federal court by their shareholders, who said they were blindsided when Intel revealed on August 1st that its so-called foundry business for making chips on contract for outsiders was floundering, costing billions of dollars extra even as revenue declined. The shareholders also said that the company's materially false or misleading statements regarding the business and its manufacturing capabilities inflated the stock price from January 25th through August 1st. Coincidentally, the lawsuit came after Intel said last week they would lay off more than 15% of their workforce, or 15,000 jobs. Leave a comment at allthetoptech.tech. I'm Chuck Palm.
All right, let's get into Friday sports now on America in the Morning. Here's our Robert Workman.
At the Paris Olympics, USA basketball rallied from down 17 to upend Serbia 95-91 in the semifinals. Steph Curry had 36 points. The U.S. will meet France in Saturday's gold medal game. That's a rematch of the Tokyo final 3 years ago. 3 gold medals yesterday for the U.S. at the track. Sydney McLaughlin-Lavroni defended her title from Tokyo in the women's 400-meter hurdles, breaking her own world record. Tara Davis-Woodhull won the long jump, and Grant Holloway captured the men's 110-meter hurdles.
This is something that's been on my mind for the last few years. I have the World Championships, I have the indoors, I have the Diamond Leagues.
Team USA now leads every category on the medal table, 103 in all, 30 gold, 38 silver, 35 bronze. Baseball, the Brewers barreled over the Braves 16-7, jumping out to an 8-0 lead by the third inning and belting 6 home runs among their 20 hits. Jackson Chourio went deep twice. Blue Jays held off the Orioles 7-6. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. extended his hitting streak to 20 games with a double, a triple, and a home run, plus 4 RBI. Giants won a wild finish over the Nationals, 9-5 in 10 innings. The game was 2-2 heading into the ninth. Mark Hanna's double with the bases loaded gave San Francisco the lead. Luis Garcia Jr. tied it with an opposite field 3-run dinger in the home half. Then the Giants scratched out 4 runs in the 10th on a couple of bunts and a couple of errors. Reds scored 7 times in the 10th to reel in the Marlins 10-4. Mitch Haniger cleared the bases with a double in the bottom of the ninth to give the Mariners a 4-3 win over the Tigers. Padres scored 3 in the top of the ninth to sink the Pirates 7-6 and sweep the road series. Angels scored 6 times in the 5th and beat the Yankees 9-4. Mets rolled over the Rockies 9-1. Pete Alonso with a pair of jacks.
Honestly, I just want to keep having good at-bats and do the best I can. Just stick to my plan, stick to my approach. I mean, homers can be happy accidents, just a result of capitalizing on a good pitch, hitting it hard at the big part of the field.
Phillies down the Diamondbacks, and the Rays got by the Cardinals. The White Sox fired Pedro Grifol, the first manager to get the axe this year, 2 days after his team snapped a 21-game losing streak that tied the American League record for futility. Chicago is 28-89, not just the worst record in the majors this year, but 15 games behind the next worst and on a pace to break the 1962 Mets record of 120 losses. Former All-Star Grady Sizemore has been named the interim skipper. And NFL preseason week 1 kicked off last night. The Patriots beat the Panthers 17-3 in New England's first game without Bill Belichick as head coach in 24 years. The Giants got by the Lions 14-3. Running back Eric Gray scored both New York touchdowns. 3 games tonight, 9 tomorrow, and 2 on Sunday. Opening night is September 5th. That's Friday Sports.
Thank you, sir. When we return on America in the Morning, lawsuit as the Museum of Ice Cream leaves a bad taste in this man's mouth after these messages. Welcome back. This is America in the Morning. A new sci-fi action movie hits theaters this weekend. Here's entertainment correspondent Kevin Carr with more.
With Borderlands, director Eli Roth asks if it's possible to make a good movie out of a video game. The answer probably won't surprise you.
Legend has it that there's this massive treasure hidden in some secret vault.
Borderlands follows a bounty hunter hired to rescue a ruthless businessman's daughter in order to access a trove of hidden treasures.
If the legends were true, I'm the only one who can open the vault.
The story can be incoherent at times and painfully predictable. Rather than delivering a decent plot, it leads the viewer through multiple levels where they fight faceless bad guys, leading to a legendary boss battle. You know, like a video game.
How are we gonna get get through this.
Sure, there are some fun action sequences, and the cast inexplicably features 2 Oscar-winning actresses. Borderland fails where so many video game adaptations have before.
Everybody run!
The movie looks slick, but like some sci-fi action flicks from the 90s, its impressive design still feels cheap and disposable, along the lines of Judge Dredd. The crummy one with Sylvester Stallone, I mean.
Because it's on the weirdest, most dangerous dumpster fire of a world in the universe. God, I hate this planet.
Having never played the video game, I felt left in the dust. This might be great for the ultra fan, but otherwise it's kind of a mess.
Feel free to applaud.
Borderlands gets 2 stuffed rabbits out of 5. I'm Kevin Carr, and that's the way I see it.
A man who says he suffered severe and permanent personal injury after jumping into the sprinkle pool at the Museum of Ice Cream in New York City has filed a lawsuit alleging that the facility was negligent for not warning visitors that it's unsafe to jump into the installation. Jeremy Shore says in his lawsuit that he visited the museum in New York City with his daughter in March of 2023 and suffered a broken ankle when he jumped into the sprinkle pool, a ball pit-like installation full of oversized plastic sprinkles. Shore says in the lawsuit that the Museum of Ice Cream encourages patrons to jump in through its advertising and promotional materials, but says his sprinkle pool encounter left him with injuries that required surgery and may require future surgeries, as well as physical therapy and diagnostic testing. He's seeking unspecified damages to cover his medical and legal expenses. That's our show for today, Friday, August 9th, 2024. America in the Morning is produced by Alexander Hinton. Our senior producer, Kevin Delaney. I'm John Trout. This is Westwood One.